You know, you have heard of conspiracy theories about one world government, the Illuminati. Is that really true? Was it really founded by Adam Weishaupt, I think his name was, back in 1776 to try to establish a one world government? And you've heard of the Council on Foreign Relations. You've heard about things like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. Well, it's an interesting theory. But now, will there really be a world government? There's a new definition in Webster's dictionary I just learned recently, and the word MAGA, M-A-G-A, which means Make America Great Again, is in the dictionary. But what it says is, I believe it calls it a political philosophy that it is before globalism. Globalism is let's have all the nations become a one world order. And the Bible actually indicates that's going to succeed. Now, it hadn't succeeded yet since 1776, and they've been working on it. And every century they've tried to the last, 3 centuries, nearly, they've tried to do it every decade. They've tried to, various people have done that. The Rothschilds and Rockefellers have tried to bring it about, but it hasn't happened yet. But it's going to. I'm going to show you something here in Revelation 17. Now, is this something that Christians ought to be afraid of? The answer is actually no. Now, the beast here is a symbol of the Roman Empire. In fact, the Catholic Bible tells you that. The Pope Pius edition, there's several editions of the Dalway Reams Catholic Bible, but the Pope Pius edition has a footnote here at the bottom of the page, and the footnote says the beast here seems to be the same as the beast in Revelation 13. And then they tell you who it is. It's in the Catholic Bible. It's the Roman Empire. So a beast is both the empire and the emperor, in this case, the one we call the Antichrist. The beast here represents both, and depending on the context, sometimes it means the empire, sometimes it means the man himself. Now, the beast shall, verse 8, Revelation 17, verse 8, the beast that you saw was and is not the ultimate revival, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, the Greek says the abyss, comes out of nowhere it seems like, and go into perdition, sin. This will be a very sinful government, and they that dwell on earth shall wonder, they're going to stand aghast, whose names were not written in the book of life. Now you and I should realize, we should know what this is. It's the last and final revival of the Roman Empire. Now, I won't take the time, don't have the time to go back to Daniel, where it talks about there's going to be 4 beasts. Read this in chapter 7. Each of these beasts, according to what God said, represent 4 world ruling, the known world at that time, world ruling empire. Each of those animals represented an empire. The first one represented Babylon, and then the second one was the Medo-Persian Empire. The Medes and the Persians had come together to form one empire. The third was the Greco-Macedonian Empire under Alexander the Great, and that was in the 300s. And the fourth empire hadn't even started yet in Alexander's day, and yet here was Daniel writing in the 500 BC. How did he possibly know there was going to be another empire? How do you even know about Alexander the Great, and how that when he died, he divided up into 4 sections? All of that came to pass. So there was a fourth world ruling empire, the known world. They didn't know about Australia or New Zealand back in those days. They didn't even know about the North American continent. Well, they may have, but our history doesn't record it. Now, here's the thing. The Roman Empire covered all of Europe, all the way up into Britain and North Africa, Sahara. They didn't cover that, of course, but North Africa, like Libya, those countries through there, Morocco and so on, and the Sudan, and all the way in the Middle East where Palestine is, and all the way into, Egypt also, all of North Africa was covered by the Roman Empire. So this beast here, the Catholic Church got it right. This beast represents the fourth empire of Daniel's prophecy. And it says here that he'll just sort of come out of the bottomless pit, out of an abyss, the Greek says. He comes out of nowhere. It's like a hole in the ground. There, all of a sudden, there he is. And people whose names are not written in the book of life, the agnostics, the atheists, and others, and of course the Hindus and Buddhists, people whose names are not in the book of life because they don't believe in Jesus Christ. Therefore, they're going to wonder at the beast, wow, look at this. You and I, as Christians, all realize what this is. Now, why should I talk about this today? Well, if you know anything at all about politics, you know that Joe Biden is a globalist. And one of the reasons that the news media, the leftist news media, One of the reasons that they have been so much against Donald Trump is because he wants to make America great again, which they absolutely don't want to do. Biden said this. I heard this in a news clip here. Oh, I don't know, maybe it's been a year ago now. He said the greatest threat to America is not the terrorists coming across our border. They already know, by the way, there are 700,000 convicted criminals that have been let out of Venezuelan jails and Mexican jails who have come across the border. They may be living in a town near you. They may be living down the street from you. 700,000 convicted criminals are running loose in America. Joe Biden's policy. But Joe Biden made the statement. He said the greatest threat to America is MAGA Republicans. Republicans who want to make America great again. Let's not make America great again. Let's get into a global system. Let me read the rest of this, because this will happen. They beheld the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. It existed in John's day, but this final empire, there's going to be 7 revivals of that ancient Roman Empire. Remember, it's destroyed in 476 AD by primarily three different groups: the Ostrogoths, the Heruli, and the Vandals. That's where vandalism comes from. And he said, here's the mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains. If you go back to Isaiah 2 and other chapters, it shows you a mountain as a symbol of a kingdom. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, the other is not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space. Now the beast, verse 11, that was and is not, he's the 8th. But he's of the 7. How can he be of the 7 yet is the 8th? Because he's number 8 from the original Roman Empire that was destroyed in AD 476. But he's of the 7 revivals, and he's the last one of the 7 revivals. Verse 12, the 10 horns, the Bible tells you in the book of Daniel, the 10 horns represent 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but they receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. They're going to be united with this dude we call the Antichrist. They have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. They're going to be united. Now, I don't have time to read all of this. You've read it anyway, but notice it says here, let me go back real quickly and I'll conclude with this. In Mark 13, this beast, this Antichrist, in verse 16, causes all, small and great in the world, rich and poor and so on, to receive a mark in their hands, and they can't buy or sell without it. If everybody in the world has to submit to this beast, if everybody does, then we're not submitting to Washington anymore. We've lost our sovereignty. And Joe Biden's policy, and a lot of the Democrats and those who call themselves progressive liberals, their policy has come into fruition, and now we have a world government. And the Antichrist will be ruling this world government. It's a counterfeit of the kingdom of God. Now here's wisdom. Verse 18. If you count the number, it's 666. I'm out of time. I can show you something. Let me just give you a hint, and I'll conclude. Take the Roman Empire. They use letters for their numbers, and add up the numbers. I is a 1, V is a 5, C, X is a 10, L is a 50, C is 100, and D is 500. Add up. There are 6 letters. Now, in the year 1900, they added an M, which represents millennium or 1,000. But in the Roman Empire, they only had 6 letters that made up numbers. Add up all those numbers and see what value you come up with. I think you'll find it fascinating. Be with us this Saturday at 10:30. We're live over Facebook and YouTube. And be sure to read our Friday emails. There's a link there where you can get into it. So be with us.
And if you're not on our Friday email list, they can drop their email in the DMs or in the comments, and we'll add them to our Friday email list.
Yeah, we'll do that for you. Or you can write to me at cfmcog@aol, and we can do it that way too. Be with us this Saturday.